Hello everybody, welcome back for more StarCraft 2, and welcome into 2024. We got ShaDoWn versus Astrea to kick us off. It's a best of 3 Homestory Cup 24, Group B. We got Astrea from the Americas versus ShaDoWn from the French land, which is Europe. And, well, ShaDoWn, I've been impressed a couple times by him, but sometimes just kind of blows, so I hope he keeps it competitive. Now, the other side, we have Astrea, one of those standout players from NA, and NA doesn't have the biggest pool of talent nowadays, so very excited to see him compete here. And last video, I did promise you guys to update you on the group. Well, first place is a little rough. They have Clem is in that group, and if you've been following recent tournaments, he did pretty good at a recent one, you know, maybe versus Dark. Pretty good. And so he's probably getting first place in this group, right? So who's getting second? Now it's probably either going to be Astrea or Lambo. When, you know, when you put a gun to my head, it's one of those. But Drogo and ShaDoWn can still show some good games and maybe upset some people. We also have Cuckoo mixed in there, which is a young hopeful from Team Roddy. We're definitely going to look at a game or two from him as well. You know, gotta get those games in early to see if there's some world championship potential in there. And we see Stalker and Adept coming out versus Double Stalker. So Double Stalker usually a little bit more aggressive. And Astrea putting down that pylon, making sure that he knows which units come out. Let's see if ShaDoWn hits the pylon right away, if tries to sneak the Adept past. Kind of both. Hits the pylon once and then moves the Adept. And then starts hitting the pylon again. And now we get a little dance in the middle here. There's a probe giving some vision. Sees the Adept here. Shade goes out and one Stalker follows the Shade whilst the other Stalker follows the body. Shade goes over here. By the way, I'm sorry about the Merry Christmas sweater. This is a pre-recorded cast. I recorded it just before the end of December. And that's kind of my rule. Oh, probe doesn't go down. Probe block. And the Adept actually goes down to double Sentry Stalker. But my rule is you can wear Christmas sweaters all December. And that's what I do. So, still have it. Even though you are watching this in January or somewhere in the far distant future. If you are, leave a comment. When are you watching this video? Sorry about that. Oracle coming out from ShaDoWn. Cringe-ass calls to action, baby. We see super fast Forge from Astrea, actually. So, even though he opened up a lot of Stalkers, he went into double Sentry right away with a pretty fast expansion and Blink. Let's see, ShaDoWn did scout the Twilight, but probably hasn't seen the Forge, no. So Astrea is going to try and get an upgrade lead here and eventually push his advantage to hopefully a win. Oracle goes into the probe line, gets one kill. Gets shoot away by a bunch of Stalkers and Sentry. ShaDoWn on the other side also has a Twilight. Both players getting Blink, but you see Astrea getting that +1. And ShaDoWn does know about it. So what does he do in response? Looks to be a pretty big Stalker battle here with the Blink on both sides. No Robos or anything else. And we see Probe moving out from ShaDoWn. Perhaps getting a third base. Astrea scouting with the Phoenix. ShaDoWn moving away with the probe. So Astrea did see the probe perhaps, but doesn't see this Nexus on his minimap right now. We see an hallucinated Phoenix, not an hallucinated Oracle. If you want to see some hallucinated Oracle action, watch DNS versus Hearthstone from Group A. Video posted a while back. Well, that was a good show. Now we do see Dark Templar here from Astrea, noting that I don't see a Robo here, Mr. ShaDoWn. And I know you have an Oracle, but that's only one Oracle. Do you see a robo here from Astrea, noting that there is indeed a Twilight console, and he doesn't have a robo of his own. He could have made cannons though, but wants to make a couple robo units. Makes an Immortal here. So kind of not going for that mass Stalker anymore. Third base almost done here for ShaDoWn. And, ooh, Astrea doesn't know it yet. He's about to find out with the second hallucinated Phoenix. And this Nexus is not hallucinated. It's actually about to finish up. Third base will be plonked down here by Astrea, or at least this probe wants to. Two Adepts might put a halt to that. Delayed a little bit further. We do see DT Shrine finishing up and War Prism halfway done. And these Adepts actually found out this probe. No, oh, they do. Oh, and they get the kill. So third base slightly delayed here. And we do see Stasis Ward here and a couple Stalkers here. But 10 Stalkers trying to get a little push going. Ooh, Adepts do get caught by this nice force field. Now the Shades do not get stopped by a force field. Stalkers moving out, protecting the Warp or Stasis Ward. Oh my god, he actually blinks into the Stasis Ward. Lots of Stalkers doing the jiggle dance. Hell yeah. It's a little bit different from the Fusion Core dance. But, oh, Astrea's army is pretty big here. If this stasis stops, then Blink Stalker's blinking on top of ShaDoWn's army. And now he blinks away, but loses a couple Stalkers there. No happy camper Stalkers out here. Another Stalker gets targeted down. Another Stalker does die. Nice blink there, mid-animation. So losing a lot of shots on the Stalkers of Astrea. More Stalkers get killed. Another blink, and now we do see a recall from ShaDoWn. But here is a War Prism with 4 Dark Templar. And do we have detection here from ShaDoWn? We do have an Oracle. Is that it? No, we also have an Observer here at the Natural. Okay, so he could, in theory, stop a lot of these Dark Templar. There's one over here. There's one over here, and there's 2 in the main. So Dark Templar everywhere. In the main, he starts chopping up. 1 probe goes down, 2 probe goes down. In the third base, probes are going down. And in the Natural now, probes are going down. It's a massacre, boys and girls. We see 16 probes and rising. Oracle comes here. Oh, actually goes into the third base with a revelation. Observer pops out at the Natural. Kills that Dark Templar off over there. Now, there's still a Dark Templar in the main here, but it does get seen by this Observer. No Dark Templar blink. But +2 almost done for Astrea. +1 just finished for ShaDoWn. We do see Astrea doing a little push here at the third base. Has an Immortal versus the 2 Immortals of ShaDoWn. And the nuclear battery does get charged up. And this 1 Stalker's giga dead. 2 Immortals better than 1 Immortal apparently. But the second Immortal is about to spawn here for Astrea. Third base is nice and healthy. And ShaDoWn catching up in that probe count. Does have a bigger army. Might want to move out before +2 finishes. Never mind. Can't do that anymore. And Astrea just moving out again. He's like, okay, 4th base, let's go again. Ready to rumble. Actually, Dark Templar blink coming out from Astrea. Cheeky. Might see some cool Dark Templar blink in action, but from this main base into the third base or the Natural. And we see double Immortal here with some Stalkers. And both players kind of stopped using their Robo. We see an Observer coming here, but no more Immortals. I'm a little baffled. I always feel like just making 6 Immortals feels way better. But I guess then maybe you just kind of die. Because if you have a smaller army and you have like 5 Immortals, you can't retreat with them. They just die. Because more Stalkers blink on you, and then you blink away, and then your Immortals die. So I guess it just makes you too immobile. It's a nice anchor, because they are way more efficient versus Stalkers than Stalkers. And Astrea poking on in here. Gets a couple Zealot kills, and then blinks out again. Little efficiency play, shaving off unit after unit after unit. Probe here, trying to build a pylon. And Astrea just moving around the map. Has decent vision of that map. Dark Templar here chilling behind the 4th base as well. Sneaky boy. What will he do? This war person was also still chilling over here. We see Stalker with the probe. Probe in the army. Always the most dangerous one. Dark Templar did get cleaned up there, I think. Now, Blink is done. Maybe he tried to blink over to the natural, but he did not make it to his destination. And now, another infiltration here by Astrea. Just taking a look-see. Are you defending? Do you have units over there? Do you have batteries? Are you paying attention, ShaDoWn? And ShaDoWn, a little bit on the back foot, behind in upgrades. Ooh. For a couple seconds there, Astrea had 2 upgrade lead on ShaDoWn. Now only 1. Getting some... Oh, Dark Templar again. Getting a pylon here. So really just encapsulating ShaDoWn. Really containing him on that 4 bases. Even though they have equal supply. It's just this 1 upgrade. And in a mirror, that does a lot. Observer actually finds one of these pylons. But the Immortals are exposed. And this is only half your army. Big blunk from Astrea instantaneously clicks down both of these Immortals. And as I said, you can't retreat. And now, a lot of ShaDoWn's units just died there. Supply looks even. But now, these Stalkers from the 3rd base tried to come over. But Astrea ran away, so he got a fight with his full army against half of ShaDoWn's army. And ShaDoWn was thoroughly punished for moving out to kill that 1 pylon. Jabated. And that's a lot of goddamn Stalkers, dude. 37 versus 43. We have Monobattles going on. Blink Stalker versus Blink Stalker. And Astrea blunks on in there. There is a nuclear battery, though, to keep all of these Stalkers and these cannons alive. And Astrea actually retreating now. The Stalker reinforcements from ShaDoWn coming in as well. Astrea's leaving his Immortals at home. He's like, nah, this is a Monobattle now. I'm just not. We're just gonna make Stalkers. Stalkers versus Stalkers, that 1 Zealot. We're just gonna ignore that one. And we see both players double forging it up right now. So Astrea is going to keep that, like, 1 upgrade lead. And now his whole army's moving over to the 3rd base. ShaDoWn is not seeing this. ShaDoWn out of position. And Astrea moves into the 3rd base, clicks it down. And actually, recall coming in from ShaDoWn, but it's too late. The Nexus is already dead. You got recalled into the Shadow Realm, my dude. Cold as the void, indeed. And now ShaDoWn, supply blocked, stuck on 150 supply, whereas Astrea is completely maxed out. Killed 18 probes, actually had more Dark Templar in the base. Whilst all of that was happening, mamma mia. And now ShaDoWn rebuilding 2 Nexi at a time. Another blow coming in from Astrea. Tries to click down another Nexus. But nuclear battery and Stalkers now in position, actually. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice. I probably still die because I have less units and less upgrades. Astrea's kind of styling on him. He's 2 Immortals, but he's like, nah. Nah. I don't need those. And Astrea, I think he could just blonk in, no? He has a lot of Stalkers. ShaDoWn, though, he does have these cannons. He has a battery. He can warp in defensively. Does have a couple Stalkers over here, though. And now this big army moving towards the throat of ShaDoWn. Standing in between the bases, killing some of these main-arding workers. Fighting uphill, but there's no mischance. This ain't no Dota. And now ShaDoWn fighting downhill, but Astrea getting the concave there. Oh! And Astrea finds a little pack of Stalkers, blinks on top of all of those Stalkers, gets a good fight. Now the Stalkers for ShaDoWn finally join the big last fight. Will ShaDoWn hold on? 2 Immortals join the fight. Not fair is what ShaDoWn says. But Astrea is like, it's not fair that I'm so good. And Astrea takes the first game for ShaDoWn, who showed a pretty decent game, all things considered. Got caught out that one time and lost an entire base for it. And I mean, he just got DT rushed, man. Like, Invisible Men ruined his ladder game, or a tournament game even. Dude. These invisible men are too powerful. They can ruin multiple types of games. And we see both players putting down the double gateway again. ShaDoWn going for that double gateway at the ramp. Whereas Astrea is electing not to do that again this game. So he's not a fan. ShaDoWn going for the Protoss special. Putting his pylon where it has no business being. Just in case. This is a pretty good pylon to have later in the game as well. Because if the Warp Prism comes by, you'll see it immediately. And at that point, you want to spend that 100 minerals to perhaps see a proxy. Now, both players have this map pretty figured out when it comes to proxies, apparently. ShaDoWn putting his probe on attack move, actually. Making sure that if there's a probe from Astrea, he either gets the first hit, and he will follow that probe around. So, just making sure that if he misses something on the minimap for a couple seconds, that his probe is still on a useful command. Now we see a pretty big deviation here. Double Adept from Astrea with super fast Twilight versus double Stalker from ShaDoWn this time, where we saw double Stalker from Astrea last game. Is this going to be like the fastest DTs and just kill him again? That would be so dirty. I would love it because PvP, any Protoss dying warms my Zerg heart. And we see no double Stalker follow-up from this initial double Stalker. We see Twilight Console as well for ShaDoWn. This is going to be dangerous. We see Twilight Console, but nothing has been built yet. 150 gas, so he could make a Dark Shrine now. He gets Blink, okay. Okay, ShaDoWn, you're safe. You're safe, little buddy. So we see Blink and Stalkers. Third gateway, actually, for Astrea. No second base, but we do see a second one for ShaDoWn. Astrea about to find that out. And ShaDoWn hasn't seen anything yet. Oh, do see a shield battery. Nice catch. And now Astrea does not know there's a natural actually. Whoa. Does find the pylon on the map. And these two adepts did their job. So 3-gate blink here. And ooh, ShaDoWn trying to give him a cookie of his own dough, which is what we say in the Netherlands. But then I horribly translated it. Taste of his own medicine. That's what they say in English. There you go. Two pylons just, you know, in a screen's distance of each other. Classic. Fourth gateway from Astrea. He's 4-gating. 4-gate? Forget about macro. He's just gonna all-in him with Blink Stalkers. And I don't know if the Dark Templar are going to be in time to actually do anything. Ooh, there's a pylon here. And Astrea does find it, does see that pylon, starts clicking it down, and he's like, oh, why is there a pylon there? What's happening? Oh, the Spidey senses are tingling. He's making a robo. Even though he's going for a 4-gate all goddamn in. And then the Stalker finds the pylon and he sees the warp in. Look at that. He sees the warp in. You see the shimmy. And then you see them walking. So Astrea knows, and he goes into the natural here. And ShaDoWn actually was busy following around these adepts. Adepts clicking down some probes. And ShaDoWn just builds a cybercore. That's like the beefiest building you can build. Like literally. And 2 DTs are knocking on the door. It's not quite a base race, but it's pretty close now. Observers being chrono boosted out. Now we see a big recall from Astrea. And he did cancel the natural, and we see a recall from ShaDoWn actually. And now there's an observer. ShaDoWn lost his natural, but he does have more workers. If he can find this pylon out on the map before Astrea gets back to the front of his base, that would be godlike. This DT is going to look for it, I feel like. And this is the... Oh my god, no. Okay, there's no observer here. I was like, there's no way Astrea is going to catch that one DT getting out. So we see 2 DTs, makes it into an Archon. Doesn't really want to keep them around, try to do more run-bys. How many only one observer. Third base from Astrea, perhaps. But for now, just a pylon. And that could have ended so disastrously for Astrea, but he just barely holds on there. Kills the natural and then gets the recall. Shield battery's not quite done. Uses blink to position. Feels like feels a little wasteful. Oh, big blink into the main of Astrea again, kind of finding ShaDoWn out of position. Blinks in with half of his stalkers. So Astrea gets a good trade there. A couple probes, gets a stalker, gets out. And this is Astrea's class, really showing. They have the same pieces, basically. But he's just maneuvering them better. Oh, look at that. Shimmy, 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 shimmy. Third base going down for Astrea now. And the second base of ShaDoWn is now down, but Astrea has taken the probe lead, aggressively Corona boosting those probes out. Even an Immortal being thrown into the ring. Second observer pumped out. Making sure that any DT investment is just free money in the bag for Astrea, or just free kills, basically. We see Robo coming down from ShaDoWn. Probably needs a couple Immortals to ever take a third base here. I do like the sentry here. Guardian Shield is pretty good. I wouldn't even mind a second one, so that one blunk on top of your army targeting the sentry isn't enough. That, like, yeah, you'd have to blunk like twice. Like, you have to like shift-click half your army to blink in and target a sentry, and then manually blink in the second one. Second part of your army. And that's hard. That's just hard. Because if you mess that up, a lot of units just blinked into your opponent's army without doing anything. And that would be pretty painful. Oh, that's 4 sentries for Astrea. That's a lot of sentries. Guess he had a lot of gas banked up. Even with only 2 gases. Crazy. But he probably used all of his minerals, just getting that third base, getting probes. Because he did kind of invest pretty heavily into going for an attack. Forge now coming out for Astrea, and again, he's the first one to commit himself to getting upgrades. Now, ShaDoWn does see the Forge and immediately starts his own. Has a third base here. Decently timed, but definitely still behind. Mostly a smaller army, though. That can be overcome, especially if you make more efficient units. But Astrea is going to have a slightly bigger army, bigger economy, and upgrade lead. And if I say it like that, it's not looking good. It's a mirror match after all. They have the same units. It's kind of like chess. If you're behind like 1 or 2 pawns, that's kind of rough. And Astrea, even... I like these pylons at the edge so much. There should be one here. Come on. Yes, yes, do it. Just to make sure that he can't miss a warp prism that like warps in 4 DTs and kills his main base. Or, you know, 8 DTs. Oh, that makes me think about the Hero versus Rogue match. I think it was BlizzCon 2015, maybe? It was pretty sure it was still Heart of the Swarm. And Hero had like a pylon in the main of Rogue somehow. Or a Warp Prism, I don't remember. And then he made like 8 DTs and sniped the lair. And somehow that got him back into the game. That was crazy. And in this game, I mean, ShaDoWn just can't do much. And Astrea is like, lol, let me just make some more stuff. Actually, ShaDoWn going for a 4th base. I like this. He's like, okay, I'm on the defensive. Might as well defend some more bases. And one of the maps to do it on is definitely Oceanborn. Definitely a more defensive map. Now, we do see +1 finishing. No extra upgrade being started, and Astrea is moving out. Only gateways being produced. I think he's going to pull the trigger. Did lose the outpost here, though. So maybe goes for a 4th base after all. But now we see 3 Immortals, 4 full HP sentries, and we only have 1 Archon to break the force fields and blink Stalkers. Oh, Haluk, Haluk! We see an hallucinated Warp Prism going into the main base. Dude! That's cool. ShaDoWn has to react to it. 6 Stalkers not in the fight. Look at this big fight. 4 hallucinated Archons as well. Immortals in the back just doing a little crab dance because Astrea's army is just a little bit too big. A little bit of a weird of a criticism, or luxury problem to have, is what I should say. No Immortals on ShaDoWn's side. Nice Warp Prism Micro trying to hold on here, but Astrea's army is looking so big. And even Force Field's cutting out a couple Stalkers, but the lines just aren't that thick. It's only one line of Stalkers for 3 lines of Stalkers for Astrea. And ShaDoWn has to retreat all the way back into his mineral line. No shield batteries to become nuclear. 1 probe in the Warp Prism because of just the overload of APM that you needed as ShaDoWn to micro correctly. And Astrea taking that series pretty clean, 2-0. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this cast. Be sure to like and subscribe. Yeah, I would love some more subscribers. And I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.